Hello and happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to a Q&A with me, Pat Flynn. I'm here to help you make more money, save more time, and help more people too. Welcome in. Thank you so much for today. We're going to answer as many questions as possible. I have the questions answered board up and ready, and I'm excited to dive in and see if we can get maybe past 30 within the 60 minutes, 2 minutes per question. Sometimes we go longer. Some questions are much shorter. Either way, we're here to have a good time and have some fun. Halfway through in chat, remind me so that I don't forget, but you can help me out because I want to try something new that I saw yesterday on a stream that I thought was really neat, and I want to incorporate it, and it's the first time I'm doing it. It's just for fun, but I need some help to see if it's even worthwhile and interesting and fun and interactive. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. I'll leave it as sort of a surprise in the middle of the stream here, but when we get to the half-hour mark, please remind me if I forget, and that way we can have some fun and try some new things here. I'm always trying to make the stream more interactive. I saw this on a stream yesterday, in fact, on a Pokemon channel, and I thought it was really cool. I've never used it before. This will be a test run, but what better way to test it than with a trusted group of people who can offer their honest feedback. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Happy Sunday, everybody. We got Rex in the house, Thrifty Pickers, Martin, Andrew, Stephanie. Thank you, Rex. Let's see, who else we got in the house? I saw a John, Scrap Happy, Samuel, welcome in, Peter, Bernard, Uncle Bill, Ryan, Wendy. Welcome in. This will be super fun. Thanks so much. Let's play the music and let's rock it out. This is the income stream to help you achieve 2021, baby. We're right in the middle of it now. John Goodson. Thank you for coming in. And let's pop in the, let's see here. There we go. Questions answered. It's right over here. I got my trusty marker. It is brand new, so we shouldn't have any problems this time. And I'm really excited to dive in. And to set the ground rules here, of course, I won't be able to get to every question that gets asked, but I will try to answer as many as possible. If it's seemingly like that I skipped over a question, feel free to ask it again. Just be mindful. Don't spam. I'll try to get to as many as possible. And if you do have a question, please type in the word question in all caps, followed by your question. I'll pop up the question on the screen here so we can all see it together, and I'll do my best to help you out. You're welcome to ask me anything except my home address, my phone number, credit card number, or social. Anything else is really up for grabs, and it could be business related, personal development, productivity, or it could literally just be like, hey, Pat, like, what's your favorite, whatever. So whatever you want to do, I'm here for you. Bill says, please say hi to my friend Dale of @Dale and Joy Explorers from across the pond in England. What's up, Dale? And also perhaps Joy. Welcome. Thank you for coming on the stream. I appreciate you. So again, question in all caps followed by your question, and we're going to try to get to 30. So I need your help. I need some questions. Mohammed says, how are things? I'll start with that one actually, because I like talking and just about things. Things are going very well here. This morning we had a very English breakfast. In fact, my friend Chris Ducker, who lives in England, we experienced this kind of breakfast for the first time. Many of you know yesterday I had French toast. Today we had eggs with little soldiers. And if you don't know what that means, imagine a semi-boiled egg, then put in maybe like a shot glass with the top part of the egg cut out so that you can still see the egg in there. And you put some salt and pepper in the egg and the egg yolk, you mix it up, and then you take toast, you cut it into thin slices, you put butter on it. This is the universal symbol for butter. And then you dip it in. Those are your little soldiers. You put them in there. Dude, it was epic. April made it this morning. It was awesome. So things are good because we had a great start. So that's question number one. Thank you so much for that. And I'm doing some work in the garden this afternoon, and the weather's beautiful here in San Diego. A nice 73 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm stoked on that for sure. And again, thank you. All right, question from Can Do Math. I'm spreading myself too thin and need to dedicate myself to just one. So the question I'm guessing is, how do I do that, right? So the number one thing to do first is just to kind of understand all the things that you're doing, because sometimes we don't even know how many things we're doing. And when you put these all out on the table in front of you, maybe a Post-it note per thing that you're doing or things that you're focusing on, sometimes it's a huge realization. And when you see all this in front of you, it's almost like weight, right? And now we can start removing that weight and start trimming that fat, if you will, to get to a point where now you're only focused on the things that you want to focus on. And that, of course, begs itself to talk about prioritization. So within each of those things that you know you're focusing on that is distracting you or taking a little bit of your brain space, I would rank them. I would prioritize them. I would maybe even take a note out of the book called Essentialism, where essentially you can do this in your life, but you can do this with your business. You essentially grade or rank from 0 to, I don't even know why I do this anymore. It's obvious that I should remove this, to 10, I can't live without it. I must do it. And the 0s to 6s are the kind of the easy ones to get rid of. And of course, the 9s and 10s are also easy because you're like, okay, that's what I need to focus on. The struggle and where growth actually happens is when you can learn to let go of the 7s and 8s. The things that are likely very important to you, that are exciting to you, that you want to do, but just probably aren't things you should be doing right now because you have to make room for things. There's a book by Jay Papasan and Gary Keller called The One Thing that is absolutely amazing. Speaking of The One Thing I'm going to do right now is actually put on some music so we can play it in the background and have some little ambiance behind me. Chat, let me know if the sound maybe is a little bit too much for you, but it should be playing right now. And if you're not hearing it at all, let me know too, because I want to make sure we get a nice vibe in the house today. And again, I appreciate you for that. That book is going to really tell you about the consequences of doing more than one thing. But part of doing the one thing is doing the right thing. And yes, you might not know what that right thing is, but if you do get it right, here's what happens. In the book, they talk about this thing about dominoes. And the cool thing is a domino, like dominoes that sort of like, hit each other down. A domino can knock over another domino that's 1.5 times its size. And your job is to find that first domino that can then knock over the bigger domino, that can knock over the bigger domino, right? And if you get 82 dominoes down the road, right, each one being 1.5 times the size of the one before, you will have a domino that reaches from the Earth to the moon. Just 82. And that little 1.5-inch starting domino will knock that domino that's from the Earth to the moon. Now, that would be, first of all, I don't know how you would build something like that, and that would be tragic to have something that big fall over. So, with great power comes great responsibility. But the point being, let's find the right things to do first, and you can't know what to do unless you see what you're doing, and then you can start to trim from there. Thank you for that question, by the way. I saw Pokey Kobe in the house. What's up? Samson, Ryan, Julie, Keisha, thank you so much for coming in. Domino's Pizza. Zane says, how early should we start converting and asking viewers to buy services? I'm at 3K subs. Don't want to come across as a sellout. Zane, let me give you a scenario. One of your 3,000 subscribers goes, Zane, I have this problem. I know you talk about this. You help people. Can you help me? Would you ever tell this person, I'm sorry, I can't help you because I only have 3,000 subscribers? Probably not, right? Because it's not about how many subscribers you have. It's about the information and the help that you could provide, the services that you could provide. And the reason why perhaps this language of sellout is there is often because sometimes we don't believe that what we have is actually worth that value, right? Or what we have is worth making money from. Or we are an imposter. We feel that imposter syndrome, right? You might not be an imposter, and I'm doubting that you are, but we feel that when we're especially asking for money for the first time. But it's not about the money. You are providing value, and in exchange, you will get money back in return. Your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve your audience, right? So number one, we need to explore this language, sellout. And I think that the one thing you can do to help yourself, and this is for everybody, if you're just at the start and you're worried about making money and being perceived as a sellout, don't worry, you're not Green Day. You have to find somebody, one person who you can help first. And once you see that you can actually help that one single person, it's going to unlock all the stuff in your brain. It's going to give you this confidence that you need to go out there and actually know that you can help more people, knowing that if you don't, you're actually doing them a disservice. Done. How we all doing, by the way? Andrew, question. How often do you recommend to post on a blog? Should it be every day, a couple times a week when first starting? Well, there's no perfect number. I know some people who come out with blog posts literally once a month, but they're very successful. Why? Because it's worth waiting for the kind of content that they come out with. I also know some people who post literally every single day who go nowhere. Now, that doesn't mean that you should only post once a month, because I know people who post daily and even do a podcast daily, and they do extremely well too. When you can publish consistently great content that actually helps people, that's the answer. And the ability for you to do that and still stay, not overwhelmed and not stressed out about that, and to develop a system that allows you to create content consistently that doesn't burn you out, that's the answer, whatever that number may be. I would say in general, once a week would be a great place to start if you had to pick a number, but you can move up or move down from there. I do think, however, that the more often that you publish consistently great content, the better. And of course, you can publish more often and then start to see the curve of your quality go down. And we don't want that to happen either. So you might need to find that balance, if that makes sense. Thank you, Andrew. 4 questions in, let's go. I need to know what a true Irish breakfast is, Ryan. Can you tell me more? Pokey Deek, best shirt ever. What's up, Pokey Deek? Good to see you here, my friend. How's it going? Everyone says, Karma, I'm so glad you're in. I haven't seen you in a while. Soft boiled eggs with toast dipped. Yes, exactly. That's what it was. Oh, I thought this was the hand sign for mayo. It could be mayo, butter, or just like petting a dog. It could be whatever you want. Snowing there. I do want to be there. All right, question from Jermaine. When creating a podcast, should episodes be broken up in multiple parts over the week, or is it better to commit to one long episode per week? I think it depends, Jermaine. Let's say, for example, that on average, your show lasts 45 minutes. And if you happen to do an interview and it's like 2 hours long, you could potentially break that up into 2, part 1 and part 2. And that is often the case because those are much longer episodes than normal. You can chop them in half and people get excited about listening to part 2, especially if it's that great. If it was that good for you to interview that person for that long, then people wouldn't mind another sort of second part to that, if that makes sense. So I think it really depends, but I wouldn't just cut it up to have more episodes. I think that there is something to be said for having something whole and complete. But again, if something is way beyond average and there's just a normalization of how long people typically listen to your content or watch your content, maybe breaking it up could be good. And of course, that can actually be advantageous, especially if the first part hypes people up, you really hook people in, and then they can't wait for the second part. People start talking about the first part, they start sharing it with their friends, they start getting excited about it, subscribing because they want part 2. Then that could work to your favor. But we also don't want to cut people short and make them go, oh, you're just kind of like, taking this hour-long episode and creating 6 10-minute episodes just to kind of game the algorithm and get more downloads, right? So I think there's definitely a happy medium there for sure. Fantastic. Thank you for that question. Question from Can Do Math. Should I focus on creating videos showing students how to solve specific math problems, or should I focus on creating worksheets for teachers? Who is your target audience would be my follow-up question. If your target audience is students, then do something that helps students. Creating worksheets for teachers is not going to help the students. If your target audience is teachers, well, then solving problems for math students, well, in a case may be helpful because people could see the example as a teacher to see how you do it, and then the worksheets are a bonus and a lead magnet and such. But it really depends on who your target audience is. Now, if you have both as the target audience, well, you'll have to make it easy for people who find you to find the other things that relate to them. And you might struggle a little bit with having stuff that attracts the students and then having them see that your next piece of content is actually for teachers that's irrelevant to the students. So you might have to have some sort of bucket system in your brand, or perhaps a second channel or second something to kind of separate those out, because those are actually 2 completely different avatars, if that makes sense. And when you have different avatars and different audiences, they might find you for one thing, subscribe, and not ever watch another video because they see that you're actually not speaking to them. Speaking to and having a person on the other end know that you are the right one for them is really what matters most. All right. Questions. Well, I'm going to count this as 1 check, but 1, I have a cool 3-minute video I'd like feedback on is a better way to do chat while in live. Cool. Shoot it to me over Twitter if you can. And I see that I'm struggling. I'm a little bit... Oh, there we go. It caught up. Sorry about that. Bill, shoot me a link to that video on Instagram in a direct message if you can, or at least just @tag me on that if you don't mind sharing it, @PatFlynn on the tweets. Question 2, my request for shout out, doesn't that count as a question? No, but that first one did, so I'll pop that in here. There we go. Thank you, Uncle Bill. I gotta close this between ones because this thing dries out so fast. Salima, what advice would you give your children if they wanted to start their own digital biz? Great question. I would ask them, well, who is it that they want to help and what might they be able to do to help them? And I want them to explore that. I want them to start actually talking to people, because oftentimes, and this isn't just kids, this is all of us. It's like, okay, I pick a group of people and I'm like, here's what I'm going to build for them. I have this idea. I think this will work. Let me build it. And then I spend time and then I spend money on it. And eventually I put it out there and I, number 1, don't have any connections in that space yet. And number 2, I start shouting from the rooftops, buy my thing. And number 1, they don't know who I am. But number 2, maybe this isn't for them. And so if you read my book, Will It Fly, you'll find out that there's a lot that has to be done up front that could save you a lot of time, hassle, and money in the future. Will it fly? How to test your next business idea so you don't waste your time and money. And that involves having conversations. So if my son or daughter wanted to start something to help people, I want to go, okay, let's go find those people. The other thing that's very common is a person might go, oh, well, I want to help everybody. I want to build the next fidget spinner. I want to build the next Uber. I want to build the next Tesla or whatever. Okay. But how might you help just a few people at first? Because that advice I give them is not going to be as useful as the real life experience of just putting themselves out there and failing. So the big push for me would be go out there, try something. If it doesn't work, let's try again, right? And that's a very, very hard thing, especially for us older people who are conditioned to have A+ on all of our papers. Man, we cooking today, my friends. We are cooking. All right, looking for the next question. From Kathy, I've got a couple of clients where emergency or priority work abounds. They pay my bills. It pushes out my one thing time blocking. Any thoughts? So I've got a couple of clients where emergency or priority work abounds. They pay my bills. It pushes out my one thing time blocking. Any thoughts? So this means that you have some clients who, if there's something that goes on, you kind of have to put everything else away and then focus on them. Am I reading that right, Kathy? In which case, this is just something that is built into the way things are working right now. You could either work toward having those clients be removed from the position, in which case maybe the time that you do have to focus in between allows yourself to then building something more passive. Perhaps you start increasing your prices so you have fewer clients, but they pay higher and they actually get better results. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I think that no matter what, the time that you do have in between those sort of emergency type things, we need to make sure we're working on the right things, and learning how to get out of things and then back into them sooner is going to be key, right, Kathy? Because one thing that actually eats up our day that we don't know and realize is the transition between one thing to another. And this is why interruptions are so difficult. You could potentially have time blocks for those emergencies. Hey, every day between 2 and 4, if something goes on, I'm here for you. Just make sure to only reach me then, or expect a reply during this time at this point. Different industries, maybe you're not allowed to do that, but that way you can at least control, yes, there's emergency things, but at least it is contained within that time. But like I was saying, I would just, make sure to prioritize and make sure that the things that you are working on are working toward sort of more passive things that, and are things that are moving the needle, if that makes sense. Yes, I got it. Cool. And of course, there could be the ability for you to start to keep track of these things. And if it's possible, maybe have other tools and or people be the ones that actually serve them first and help manage those emergencies and put out those fires for them so that you don't even get to see the smoke, right? They're in between. And this is what I have on my team. I have Jessica for my email. That is my correspondence between myself and the rest of the team. He's my chief operating officer, and I can just focus on the things I need to focus on. And this has allowed me the more time to build things like the new Pokemon channel and other things that I'm doing, and more courses and such, right? Kathy says, OMG, time block the urgent work. Great idea. You're welcome. Let's do it. Lovely. Julie says, hello, Pat, new subscriber. Thank you so much. High five. Appreciate you for that. Found you when I was looking for podcast info. I have a hiking podcast. It's awesome. I can imagine people on hikes listening to you, being more present because of your work, and have found your suggestions on types of questions to ask very valuable. Oh, cool. You're welcome. No question, but thankful that you're here. Appreciate you for saying something and saying hi. Ryan says, Domino's Pizza? Is that a question for me? Question from Chris. Do you know any resources for someone interested in becoming an online community manager? Resources I've found so far are basic. Rocket Fuel is the book that really sparked this whole discussion of OBMs, or online business managers, otherwise known as integrators, Chris. Another term that you might want to look up is integrator, and see if there are any resources for integrators. Again, Rocket Fuel is the book that really paints this picture of the importance of the duo that happens when you have somebody visionary. They can't do all they want to do because they're visionary, and they're not thinking like an integrator. You need a visionary and an integrator sort of married together to do and build great things. And this is, it's very rare to have a person who is both. And so for me, I'm the visionary for sure in my business. And yes, in the beginning, I had to also be the integrator, but I wasn't very good at it. But now I have Matt, who's my chief operating officer, who acts like the online business manager, although he has a lot more responsibilities than when, on paper, an OBM would have. But it's so key. And so Rocket Fuel would be the book for sure that I would recommend you read. Thank you for that. Just Samson. Pat Flynn, is that magic arm holding your ZV-1? Yeah, this arm right here. I don't know if it's called a magic arm. It is kind of magical, but I just realized that it actually is in frame. I apologize about that, but it is holding my ZV-1 for sure. And I bought a few of them on Amazon for really cheap, $12.99 I think, and I have a whole bunch of them floating around, mostly in my Pokemon space. It's what I hold up my phone so I can open packs in front of the camera and such. But it is definitely a thing that I love, and it just screws into the underside of the ZV-1 from Sony. Good afternoon, Pat. Thank you so much for all your advice. Thank you for accepting it and putting it into action, hopefully. Peter, what would be a strategy to get people to your website without using social media as your main reliance? It got me thinking with what happened with Parler. Yeah, so Parler is sort of like out of the picture now. I didn't know much about Parler, but I know that there was some stuff, and because it was unregulated or not being really thought about as something that should be regulated from the founders, it just got booted out of the App Store, and it's sort of something you can't get right now. So social media is something that can extend your reach, but it is and shouldn't be your primary method of reach. And this is the struggle, right? We are building platforms and building audiences, a subscriber base, and even businesses on other people's sandboxes. And at any moment in time, something that relates to that, whether it's the app that directs people to get that app, or in fact the app or the company itself, a la Facebook and Instagram, and we've seen this before. We've built our platforms, for example, in 2008, 2009, I was really big in building a Facebook page. And I have 150,000 fans on this page that are doing nothing for me now. Although I spent all this time and effort building it up and creating landing pages and all this stuff, and the pages are irrelevant now. They're basically like yellow page books on Facebook. Now it's all about the groups, and if only groups existed and I put more time and effort into that, I'd be that much more successful. So Facebook just changed the rules. They changed their algorithm, and this is why it's important to have email subscribers. And for me, as far as growth, social media doesn't mean growth to me. Social media means connection. Social media to me means a window inside of things that I'm doing that can then offer a connection point and moments of activation for people. It does drive a little bit of traffic, but guess who is seeing those? People who already know I exist. So the question I would ask you instead would be, how might you get in front of people who don't know you exist yet? Bill, thank you so much for the 99-cent super chat. I appreciate you for that. How might you get in front of other people who don't know you exist? Social media is not the way to do that. Yes, it can happen. Your thing can go viral or whatever, but everybody who's seeing your posts, mostly 89.7% of those people are people who already know you exist. That's just a made up number, but you know what I mean. What song is that? Caillou? Why am I singing Caillou? Caillou's out of there, by the way. I don't know if you saw that in the news, but everybody's super happy about that because that brat is gone from PBS. Why was I singing Caillou? I think I just made up a tune and it sounded like Caillou. Wow. Okay. I don't know what that means, but let's answer Elvis's question here. If you're planning to start podcasting, do you recommend better single person or two person? Better means it's better for the end user. And I don't know if there is a definitive answer as far as which one's better. There's pros and cons, right? Let's think about it. A single person podcast can still have a guest on, right? But if you're meaning like a co-host, let's talk about that. The idea of one person on the show hosting it or a co-host. The beauty of doing it solo is you get to determine your own time and schedule, right? It's all on you. When you start to add a second person into the mix, now there's a whole nother person with a whole nother life, with a whole nother calendar that you have to coordinate. And that other person has to be committed just as much as you are. And that person's relying on you as well. It's almost like a marriage. What happens 6 months down the road when this person gets tired of doing it? There needs to be a contract in place or something written down, or at least a mutual understanding of what's going to happen and for how long. What happens when each of those people have their own brands and perhaps wants to drive emails to their email list? How does that work, right? We need to talk about these things, and these things aren't necessary to talk about when you're just by yourself and you want to have a guest on. Cool, that's a little bit easier to coordinate. But I will say having a co-host on adds a lot of flavor to the podcast, because now you can have two sides to a story. You can have sort of, nice arguments about things that makes it more informative and more interesting for the listener. You can have different styles. For example, the Internet Business Mastery podcast, which was the first one I ever listened to and really started my career as an entrepreneur back in 2008, 2009. Jeremy was the storyteller. Jason was the logical sort of numbers-based guy. And so you got a storyteller person sharing this information in a way that provides context and relatability. And then you have the logical sort of, right side of the brain person that is sharing the numbers and the logic and sort of the data and analytics. It was a perfect marriage. And I fell in love with that show, and I got to know them very well, and they were very much a part of my history and how I got to where I am today. Big shout out to Jeremy and Jason from Internet Business Mastery. So there's no right answer. I think what makes sense for you and your partner, if it is 100 download day, congratulations, that's awesome. After a year of releasing consistently every Saturday, what is the normal growth of downloads for a podcast? There is really no normal growth. I would say it depends on the industry, it depends on the market, it depends on the niche, it depends on what's happening, it depends on you. I think that the most important thing when it comes to metrics is just let's continue to grow. I think any sort of growth is good growth, and even a 1% growth will compound over time because every single new listener that you get is a new listener that can bring more listeners in. So I wouldn't worry so much about the analytics other than, are we just upward trending, right? And let's just continue to do that. And you can look a little bit deeper at individual episodes. I would be interested, Julie, to see within each of those episodes that you have out in the archive, other than your latest episode, what are the older episodes that are still gaining a lot of steam and momentum? Maybe it's time to create a part 2 of that. Maybe it's time to go a little bit deeper or have another person come on to talk deeply about that because it's already proven that people like that and they're sharing it and they're interested in it. Thank you for the question. All right, we're gonna answer one more question. Then for the people here who are in the room with me, I wanna run a little test. And no, you don't have to participate. You can just watch on the sidelines. It's a little experiment with some brand new tool that I just found out about yesterday that I wanna see if it works and if it's even useful. Jose says, how do I know how many listeners I have on my podcast? Well, you can determine how many plays and or downloads your host. Also, Apple has podcast analytics, but they only show you the analytics from people who listen on Apple devices. Similarly, Spotify is only gonna show you the plays on Spotify. So you're gonna have to go to the host and see how many plays and downloads you have. Now, unfortunately, that still doesn't tell you how many subscribers you have because people are subscribed all over the place and there is no one single place that will tell you how many subscribers you have. But you can take a guesstimate on what those things are. So what you need to do is go and actually, when you get spikes, every time you create a new episode, I would count the number of downloads from day 1 and day 2 as sort of, you can imagine those are people who are subscribed because they're getting it delivered to them the moment your podcast comes out and they're playing it on that day and or the day after. And that is a good number. And again, you just kind of want the numbers to go up, if that makes sense. Polish Rob in the house. What's up, Polish Rob? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. You were amazing. Great stream yesterday, by the way. And let's keep going. Oh, I just finished that question. So just in time, Polish Rob, because I'm going to try something new. I was on a Pokemon live stream yesterday, and I saw this person use this tool. I downloaded a trial. I want to see how this tool works. And it's a tool that I want y'all to experiment with me on right now because we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun. Some of you are new here and you might not know what the heck is going on, but I want to share with you my screen really quick. We are halfway through the questions. Thank you. But I'm going to go to this tool right here. So this is a quiz tool. And I created a quiz with just 8 questions about me. And I don't want to seem self-centered or anything. I just wanted to create something for the people who have been in here for a very long time and just have some fun. There's no prizes or anything. I just want to experiment and see what this is like. So if you go to joinmyquiz.com/pro, I'm not collecting emails or anything like that from this. I'm just wanting to see how this works. I, as the quiz host, can live create a quiz and have like the ability to see people's answers to questions as we go along, and then we get to see who at the end has the most questions right and that sort of thing. And I just want to see if this works. So if you go to joinmyquiz.com/pro, you can even do this on your phone or on a separate device or what have you. I'd love to see it. Oh, you're seeing the... Okay, so I see Josh is in. Thank you, Josh. Okay, let me go back to Ecamm Live here because I think I have the wrong screen here. So if I go here, 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 here. Yay, there we go. Okay, so Bernard is playing, Shonda, Master Dungeon Tamer, Josh, Gregor. Okay, so this is cool. I'm seeing the participants here, which is really great. And this is kind of cool because you get to experiment and explore this brand new tool with me together. This is quiziz.com, and a big shout out to Royalty Gaming Pokemon, who used this yesterday just sort of like to do fun little Pokemon trivia. I came in the middle of it, so I wasn't able to sign up. But I'm interested to see how this works. And again, thank you, Stephanie, for letting me know. So we got 11 participants, and I think I can get up to like 100, right? What is it? This is called Quizzes, Q-U-I-Z-I-Z-Z. And this will allow us to have a fun, interactive sort of quiz session. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna press start probably in about a minute or two here, and we're just gonna see what happens. I have 8 questions, and these are random trivia questions about me, things that I've talked about on the live stream before. If you've listened to my podcast, you know these things about me. If you don't know these things about me, it's okay, just guess. But I have these questions in, and again, I wanna see what the heck is going on and see how this works. So we have 20, I see Grandma Goody, Salima, Stephanie, Andrew, Rudolph, Abundant Professional, Paximus, Keisha, Jason, Martin, Radovan, Ryan, John, Michael, Sue, Gregor, Bernard. Okay, cool. So this is pretty neat. So far, so good. I like that I can see this. And again, I'm imagining doing this in a presentation. I'm imagining doing this in a live stream. I'm imagining doing this on stage or at a virtual workshop of some kind, right? So we're just kind of we're gonna have some fun here. There's no prizes. Again, I'm just sort of doing this, and we're gonna go for 1 more minute. If you wanted to participate, again, joinmyquiz.com/pro, and we'll test it together. Again, this might be a complete failure. I'm not quite sure, but again, there was no way for me to know if this is worth experimenting with even more than just kind of seeing what happens. And if it fails, it fails, but it's all good. And you might be able to consider how you might use this in the future as well. Thank you, Jason, House of Dictionary, Hannah, Kathy, Rex. Okay, Pokey Radar in the house. What's up, Pokey Radar? Great to see you here. Thank you so much, my friend. And again, this is a tool that anybody, like, I don't own this tool. I'm not affiliated with it or anything. I saw another Pokemon person use this on a stream, and I thought it was really neat. So I wanted to experiment with it. Looks like Kahoot, says Hausa. Okay, Clementina, we're gonna go for 1 more minute, and then I'm gonna press start here and see what happens. Okay, and I'm actually gonna go full screen when I go, because I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see the answers. Like, I'm on the creator dashboard right now, so you get to see what you do if you set up your thing here. But again, I'm gonna go full screen in just a moment here. And Uncle Bill, okay, cool. We got 30 people. If you didn't get in, that's fine. You'll watch it as we go. So I'm gonna click start on this really quick and just see what happens. So I hit start. I see 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, cool. So this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing answers come in as we go. And I say, I can also use the arrow key or the slide numbers drop down. So I can click here to proceed. Okay, time's up. Next question. You only get 10 seconds to answer, by the way. Oh, and I see a leaderboard. Wow, cool. This is really neat. Oh, and you get points based on, wow, okay, this is cool. This is really neat. So 2 people answered Star Wars, 18 people answered Back to the Future, and Legally Blonde is one of my favorite movies, in fact. Inside Out, nobody guessed the Pixar movie. Okay, cool, this is really neat. I like what I'm seeing, and apparently you get more points the quicker you answer, which I did not know about, but that makes it even cooler in a way for the sort of just the standout to stand out even more. It's not just about getting the right question. Okay, we're gonna go quick. Next question, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. What is Pat's favorite appetizer? I've talked about this several times, in fact. This is really neat. I'm liking the interactivity, the cute little things that I'm seeing on the screen. This is really fun. So I didn't know Kahoot did this. Time's up. Okay, maybe I need to put more time in the next one. So more time in the next one. Ryan is in the lead. Okay, mozzarella sticks, buffalo wings for sure. Again, I'm getting no time to answer. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So there's a 10-second, I put 10 seconds. I should have 30 seconds on there. Let's see what I can do here. I think I can go back. The thing comes faster than yours, so there's lag. Okay, so thank you, chat. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to, can I get out of this? Drop down. Okay, so I apologize for that. I don't wanna restart because then I'll have to, okay, again, I'm just scrolling down. Okay, I'm gonna exit. So I'm going to exit. Are you sure you want to end the quiz? Yes, we'll do it again. So now you know the answers to the first 2. Okay, and then it shows me like first, second, third, Grandma Goody, Ryan, and Bernard. That's pretty cool. I like it. But I'm sorry, I put 10 seconds because I thought 30 seconds would be more time. And then it gives me actually, so imagine like you're a teacher, right? You're a teacher and you can like, you know, grade your students or whatever doing this way. So let me go back and reset this to have a little bit more time in between each question, right? So again, I apologize about that. I can, in fact, change the number of seconds per question here. I'm going to see how I might be able to do that again. Can I redo this question? Yes, I'm going to edit. Okay. You have horrible lag. Okay, so I'm going to do 30 seconds. And again, you know, the fact that there's lag and, you know, whatever, and the fact that, you know, how quickly you answer the question matters is kind of not cool. So that's something to keep in mind, and something I'm glad that we are talking about here. So I'm putting 30 seconds for each question, and then we're just going to do it again. Thank you guys for letting me experiment. Is it cool that we do? Will I need to do anything to reset? Yeah, I kicked you guys out. So I have 30 seconds per question now. I'm going to hit publish, and now I'm going to start a live quiz, and I'm going to do instructor paste. Instructor paste means that I will get to tell you when to answer the next question, right? Okay, so we're gonna go continue. And it looks like you'll have to join another quiz. So I'm restarting, but I put 30 seconds in between each question. The code is 146009. I kind of like this. This is kind of cool. Again, people's systems, people's lags matter with this. So I'm wondering if there's a way to not necessarily judge on how quick a person might be. But this is really interesting. I kind of like this. It's cool to see the live experiment. Thank you. Julie in the house. What's up, Julie? Thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate you. All right, we got 7, 8, 9, 10. We got Shonda, Scooby Life, Ryan, Michael, John. It's actually really cool that we're like on YouTube, but then we're like able to move people over to this platform here and just like answer questions and do some fun things together. I like that. Thank you, Samson. 146009. This might be a cool thing to do if I can set up something on day 300 where we can have multiple quizzes with prizes and stuff for our milestone episodes. Ooh, Clementina says, I use Kahoot with students and I noticed that they found a way to cheat. I do appreciate the animations and whatnot. Yeah, it's kind of cool. This is really neat. We should all see the questions at the same time. There's only lag from the YouTube stream to the quiz. Ah, good point. So Pokemon Raider here is actually a great friend of mine. We had a great podcast interview yesterday, in fact. Y'all should check out Pokemon Radar, if anything, to know how to learn how to network in a space and also, you know, ask great questions. He's brand new to the podcasting space, but very, very well versed in the world of Pokemon. So he and I are developing a relationship together, and he's great. And he's got some really cool stuff. But he invited me on a podcast yesterday. It was the first time I ever did a podcast interview, in fact, on Discord. And it was actually really cool. And we spoke for 2 hours. Probably one of the longest interviews I've ever done. And it felt very quick. So that means it was good. So Pokemon Raider, thank you so much for coming in and joining us here as we experiment with this thing. Okay, I'm going to click start here and we'll see what happens. And again, on the device that you're seeing the thing, the question, that's where you should see it in real time for everybody. It's only lagging here on the screen, says Pokemon Raider, which is true. Pokemon Raider's content is phenomenal. Indeed, it is. Okay, I'm going to hit start, and here we go. Good luck. 3, 2, 1, and I might be behind. You should see it instantly. So what's Pat's favorite movie? You maybe saw the answer to this a while back. Oh, you got a new avatar because it's a new movie. Okay, cool. So I think people who perhaps were lagging are getting a little bit more time. 30 seconds seems better to me. I thought that 10 seconds would be okay, but as you can see here, there's still a few people, 1, 2, 3 people who have left to answer, and I'm not sure why, but you know, it's just not showing up for them. There we go. If I scroll over the names, can I see? Oh yeah. So, okay, cool. Now I think we get some animation as far as leaderboard. Stephanie, Keisha, quickest to answer, and all of you should have gotten that one because we just started. Okay, cool. Next question. Everybody answered, or most people answered that. All right, let's go. Next question. This is fun. This is fun, y'all. Thanks for experimenting with me on this. This is first time using this tool. Live experiment. Favorite appetizer. You guys know this one. Kathy says, 30 seconds is better. Gives me time to actually read and think about the answer. Awesome. Kathy says, this could be good for giveaways. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Miss Boyce also earlier said, Pat, by the way, I'm a little sad today as I have just uncovered the problem today, but I'm keeping positive and I'm glad I've solved it as I can look forward to better days in the future. Miss Boyce, I don't know what's going on, but I wish you all the best and I'm here for you and I know the community's here for you as well. So thank you for sharing and I'm so sorry for whatever is happening. You don't have to go into detail, but we're here for you. You know that. All right, wow, lots of people like their mozzarella sticks. Do I look like a mozzarella stick kind of guy? I don't know. Let's keep going. Okay, next question. This is the first one that you haven't seen yet because this is the second time we're doing this and we're getting 30 seconds in between each one. Good luck. Could you imagine if you collect viewer preferences with a tool like this, says Chris? I think that's a really smart idea. So would you rather, for example, like there's not really necessarily any perfect answer. And when creating the quiz, in fact, Chris, there was definitely, Pokemon Radar should get this question right. If he doesn't, I'm going to be very surprised because we literally talked about this yesterday. Oh, Boyce, what's up, Boyce? You can collect open-ended questions. You don't have to have correct answers. Yo, Pokemon Radar, I knew number one on that one. Wow, look at that one. That one. So I did not play Pokemon as a kid. I played Magic the Gathering. And only since my kids have recently gotten into Pokemon that I've gotten into Pokemon. You would have thought that it would have been Pokemon because I'm now investing in collecting in that. But that's really interesting. So this is really cool. I'm really loving this. We got, let's see, 5 more questions. Let's do this. This is really cool. Digimon got you, Bill. Gamification. That's what I love that. All right, how many kids does Pat have? Let's see. This is really cool. I like this a lot. It's actually built, you know, because there's tools out there like this, I'm sure, that are very, you know, Windows 95 looking, if you will. And this one indeed does have a little bit more of a 2020, 2021 feel to it, if you will, in terms of animations and how fun it is. Too fast. That would be great. Its gamification is best. Yeah. I got them all wrong. That's okay. Hey, this is for people who, and I didn't know what to create a quiz about yet, and I'm going to create some other ones later if this seems to work out. But let's see here. Grandma Goody taking the lead. I wish it kept the leaderboard up a little bit more quick. Actually, I think I could change it. Can I do that? If I click here. Can I click here? I can't. Okay. Next question. 13th place. That's okay, Miss Boyce. Which state was Pat born in? Yes. I'm interested to see the layout for this one. But again, with this tool, again, I'm not affiliated with it, but this is a really fun interactive tool. Again, big shout out to Royalty Gaming Pokemon, where I first saw this, because he was doing a giveaway, giving away some packs and stuff, and just wanted to do some quizzes. But yeah, I'm just excited to see this. I put 2 girls that saw and saw 2 and need to be fast. Yes. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, my friend. And again, if you just are meeting me for the first time, this is going to be pointless to you because all these questions are about me, and I do talk about, or people know a lot about me, so, you know, I'm just sharing a lot of this stuff. So anyway, Hausa Dictionary. 2nd place, Stephanie. Ryan 4th. Grandma Goody still holding up top. Indeed, I was born in Connecticut, moved to San Diego, California when I was 7 years old. And I've been here ever since. Yes, East Coast, definitely. Kathy, first one wrong. Oh no, that's okay. Cool. All right, we got a few more questions left, and I want to see like what the end results look like, and we can kind of see what this is like together. This is really fun. What official sports teams, plural, did Pat join in college? What's his face says, I'm definitely going to use this when I start live streaming. Cool. How did I get here? Says, I only remember where Pat was born because it was near me. Yes. All right, I'm interested to see the answers to this one. This is really cool. I really like the sort of like break in the middle. It is kind of long, but you know, now I know timing wise. So the answer to this question was in fact men's lightweight crew and women's lightweight crew. A few times I've told the story specifically about how I got injured while on men's lightweight crew. I got injured actually in a soccer injury, but it wasn't an official sports team. It was just during it wasn't a sports team that I was a part of with soccer. But the women's lightweight crew, their coxswain had left, And I joined the women's team as the coxswain, the person who yells row, 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 and stroke, stroke, stroke. And we actually won several regattas. And I was the only male on the team. There was no rules against having a male on the team. In fact, it was sort of looked down upon to have that because men were always heavier, and you want the lightest person in the boat to be the coxswain. Hey, Mud Pie, hope you're having a good weekend as well. All right, next question. Yes, that's a fun little story. Where in Connecticut? I was born in New London, Connecticut, and lived in Norwich. What instrument did Pat play in the band for 17 years? And I did get the best coxswain award. Yes, Bill, that's right. Because I stepped up, even though I was injured, and let the rest of my men's team down, because when you row, you're in a boat of 8 people with the boats that we were rowing on, and the team couldn't race because I, in the 8th seat, was injured. I had punctured a lung vessel, and I wasn't able to row. But I was able to sit and talk on a microphone. All right. This is really cool. It's kind of weird that it's about me, and the fact that you guys know this much about me is a little scary, but I think I like it. Semi-interactive story. Oh yeah, that's great, Chris. I like that. Trumpet, saxophone, bassoon. One person guessed bassoon, and that's okay. Definitely trumpet. I can see how you can think I was a saxophone player for sure, but I think we're almost done here. I think we got, how many more questions? I think this is the last question. Oh, Lawrence Memorial Hospital. Cool. Which book was not written by Pat Flynn? This Pat Flynn right here. That's a clue. The one that you're speaking to right now. New England, yes. Did the girls toss you into the water after the win? Yes, they did, every single time. And they had to have a team carry me because I was heavier. The coxswain that I replaced was under 100 pounds, and I was at 140 at the time. What's your favorite coffee roast? Anything from Australia, but I really love the darker coffee from Mostra, which is a Filipino family-owned brand here in San Diego, California. All right, so I think that was the final question. The answer to that question was yes, how to be better at almost everything, which was in fact written by another person named Pat Flynn. And people mistake that book for mine all the time, but it was not written by me. Oh, is there another question? Do we want to end the quiz? Yes. Okay. Let's see what happens. Yo, how's the dictionary? Congratulations, first place. Second place, Stephanie. Third place, Grandma Goody. And now I get to see Hausa answered every single question right. Question 6 is the one that most people got wrong, along with question 3, which I think was, what was question 3? Question 3 was, oh yeah, the TCG gaming. That's cool. And then question 6 that most people got wrong was the sports teams ones. This is neat. This is neat. Well, congratulations to the winners. Again, like I said, prizes, really cool. All good. Now I can see where y'all stand, right? Hey, Pokemon Radar. First 3 right. We are just getting to know each other, so that's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Neat. That's all I got to say about that. Neat. And I think I get to keep track and have those sort of in front of me in the future. But wow, House of Dictionary. That's really cool. Thank you. That was really fun. I demand a recount, says Ryan. Yeah, I'm not even going to... My mind's going to other things about recounts that I don't want to talk about right now. So anyway, that was really cool. That was really cool. I want to use the storytime music and kids clapping yay audio. Where can I get them and what's the cost? So the yay, that's pretty cool. So storytime music I got from, that's actually my own music. So for those of you who don't know what the storytime music is, let me pause this song right here. This is storytime music. And this is actually the income stream theme song, right? So if you listen, versus rigged. So it's actually, this is actually the Storytime theme song. I just asked the people who produced it over at Music Radio Creative to create like a lullaby version of it. I need to get like a hip hop jazz sort of like Funkmaster Flex type version. That'd be really neat, but I don't have that yet. So I'm just gonna do the storytime music, I have the regular intro, and I would recommend looking up just like lullaby music on audiojungle.net, and I think that would serve you well. And as far as the kids clapping, audiojungle.net, again, for just $3, you can get some audio and some sort of yay music, if you will. Paxima says, I don't know you at all, Pat, and that's okay. Again, that was just a test, and I knew that some of you would know some of the answers to that. I can imagine in the future doing some fun trivias about podcasting and about online business and sort of other fun things. So thank you for experimenting with me on that. Again, the tool is Quizzizz, Q-U-I-Z-I-Z-Z. And again, big shout out to Pokemon channel, Royalty Gaming Pokemon, for introducing me to that tool. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. All right, let's answer some more questions. I don't think we're gonna get to 30 because I didn't realize how long that was gonna take, but let's at least get to 20 here. And Frey says, what's the most ridiculous thing you've done for money when you were younger? So one of the most ridiculous things I did was in elementary school. I was a big collector of Pogs. You all know what Pogs are. Not POG like they say in the chat, which means play of the game whenever something cool happens, but Pog, as in like a milk bottle cap from Hawaii. And what you would do with those is you would in fact, yeah, I guess this is story time. You would actually put one down and your competitor would put one down, and then you'd use another Pog or a slammer to try and flip them over, and any ones that flipped over were yours. It was eventually banned at the school because it was considered gambling, because people did spend money on the Pogs and then would lose them and complain and whatnot. But hey, we don't need to talk about that. But what we do need to talk about is the fact that I would spend hours cutting out cardboard and paper and putting sort of layers of paper together and gluing them, and then taking my favorite baseball cards, cutting them out in a circle, and then popping my favorite baseball card players onto these homemade Pogs. And then I would sell them. I would sell them for 25 cents. And then like the condition and the quality of them were pretty good. Like they were very much matched and the same size and weight as the Pogs. And I eventually started making a little bit of money, like literally like $2 total I probably made. I probably sold like 8 of them, but it was still something I did that was combining a passion to the idea that I can make these things myself. And now I can actually, make other things like the Switch Pod and other things that actually have value and actually use and are not, infringing on copyright. So that's a great question, but thank you for that. All right, let's get the background music on. Cool, that was a lot of fun. Pat, this was really fun. Thank you for the game. I love that game. Yeah, I want to do that again. That was really cool. And again, thank you all so much for that. Pogs bring back memories right there and shows our age, indeed, right? Question from Sue, are there any quiz plugins for a WordPress site fun like this one? Yes, check out outgrow.co. I don't know if that one would necessarily be fun, but I am using that for business. And it's cool because people will take a quiz. I can actually give them different results in a PDF file based on their answers. So imagine doing a quiz based on somebody's sort of abilities or knowledge about something, and then they get a result at the end that says, hey, it looks like you're lacking in this area. Might you join me on my podcast here to learn more about that? Or might you be able to take advantage of this offer here because it seems like that's where you might need the most help? So outgrow.co. If you go to smartpassiveincome.com/outgrow, I think that is my affiliate link for that. I do get a commission if you go through that link to get access to that tool, but you can check it out if you'd like. Pat, I noticed Superfans goes on sale from time to time on Amazon, but not on Apple Store. Is there any plans for a sale through Apple? There are no plans for a sale through Apple, and all the sales that happen through Amazon are all Amazon-led. Amazon has the algorithms and the machine learning in place to know exactly how much to price it to get the most money. And so I have literally no control as the author of that book how much they put it on sale. It's really interesting how that works, but for retail price, it's never at retail price. And it's because Amazon knows they'll make more money and I will make more money as a result of that. So it's really interesting. Oh, let's get the questions up. We've answered, how many is that? 18 questions. Question from Creative Visuals UK. Starting a podcast on my own, already shot 2 episodes. How to avoid switching voice mine and staying sound natural after record button is pushed? Yeah, that's a tough one. Some of the best speakers in the world, as soon as they see that blinking red light, right? They see that blinking red light, and then all of a sudden you realize that, right? It's just like, they freeze. And I'm curious because I think it's different for every single person why that's the case. It might be because we want to be perfect and we want every word that comes out to be the right word, and we're so afraid because it happens to be sort of being recorded as we go. But the best thing to do, and the thing that's helped me the most, is to just let it go. To just record and just let it be, and just try to be yourself as much as possible. Also, what helps is thinking about the person I'm speaking to on the other end, the person listening to the podcast or watching the video. I want to make sure that I empathize with them. And if I truly care about them, I want to talk to them while I'm being recorded. And so that is often really helpful because I can imagine a person sitting across the table with me having a coffee, and then that comes across a little bit more natural. And of course, the best practice is to practice and just to get used to it. And I still get nervous before I hit record, but the moment I hit record, I know the value that I want to offer and I can deliver on that. And maybe I'll make mistakes, and that's okay. That's a part of the real life part of it. And the cool thing about a podcast is you can edit parts out if you'd like. But in most cases, I'd recommend just trying to leave it in, because the more you leave it in, the more you're conscious about those things and the more that you can improve over time. Spanish and Go says, just wanted to thank you for the consultation on Ask Pat. Yes, I had Spanish and Go on the Ask Pat podcast, which I don't know if it's been published yet or not, but you've already seemingly taken action with that. Just wanted to thank you for the consultation on Ask Pat. We're implementing what you suggested and are finally getting a handle on email with our assistant. That is awesome, dude. That is awesome. We'll give a kid's yay for that one, for sure. Congrats. And the biggest struggle I'm having is finding a good site for music to use for intro and transition music that I don't have to worry about copyright stuff. So a couple recommendations I can offer for you, Doku. Number one, audiojungle.net. You'll get some decent prices for things, and it's just a one-time download and you get a license to it. A standard license, there's many different licenses, will work for podcasts from the latest conversations I've had and understanding of that license. Audiojungle.net. Secondly, I think I got my intro song for the Smart Passive Income podcast is sort of like slower hip hop style cadence on iStock Audio. And I don't even know if they have that anymore, but it was, again, you're looking for royalty free music. So audiojungle.net, I don't know if iStock Audio is still around, but I am subscribed to a place called Artlist, like a list of art, artlist.io. Now that's a little bit different because for an intro song, you just need to download it once and then it's yours. With Artlist, I get unlimited access to the library of music there, and I can do whatever I want with it. I could put it in my podcast, I can put it in a YouTube, I can edit it, I can do whatever, right? And that's pretty cool, but it's I think a monthly price of like $19 a month or $29 a month, and you might not need that. The other place, if you want to go a little bit more customized, is through Music Radio Creative. Music Radio Creative is owned by friends of mine, Mike and Isabella Russell. And this company, they made this intro to the income stream. They will make any song that you want. They also have some sort of boilerplate songs that you could choose from, and you can also choose a number of people who will read your voiceover on top of that. And you can be like, oh, I want this voice because he sounds Australian, and that sounds kind of cool or whatever. So musicradiocreative.com is pretty cool. And that's the other place you can go to. All right, I'm gonna answer 2 more questions here so we can get to 22. We didn't get to 30, but we played some fun games with that quiz tool, and I'm really excited that we did that. So thank you. All right, let's see, from somebody who hasn't asked yet. Paximus, what's up? Thank you for your merch, by the way. I got it in the mail, the mug and the stickers. Thank you for that, my friend. I appreciate you. What is your advice for someone who starts a new YouTube channel that is not related to their main channel to grow their audience using their main channel to help it grow? I think that this is exactly what I'm doing right now, right? On one case, you have an audience and they may be interested in the other thing, but at the same time, I'm not talking about my Pokemon channel here all the time. I mean, it might seem like it just because it's brand new, and I'm actually using it as experimental ground for stuff that I can pass on to you that is working. So in that case, I am actually sharing it quite a bit, and as a byproduct, people do come over, and I saw Shonda there, and I saw some other people who are like, I don't know what Pokemon is or anything, but I like that you're here. And that's the cool thing about building fans and showing up. People will want to be just interested in you, not the thing, but you, and they can support you. And the cool thing about that is they might not be interested in that, but they might know people who are, and they could forward the right people there to you who are indeed in your target audience. So I think that, advice-wise, I wouldn't just talk about it all the time. However, I think it's wise to use this thing that you've built as a launching platform for something else in case some people are interested, or they're fans of you, or they know other people who are interested. And then, you can cross-promote. I've had a lot of people in the Pokemon community come here, which is really cool, right? So I think that's awesome. What's his face says, come on, guys, don't forget to like. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you want to take a moment really quick before we finish up with this final question here, that would be really amazing to help support the channel and help more people find this later. And I gotta say, guys, this has been really fun. We tried a quiz tool today for the first time. Quiz is with 2 Z's at the end, and that actually worked out. It was actually kind of cool to see it done in real time, and I'm glad that we were able to sort of unpack that together. Literally, the first time I saw the back end of it, you saw it with me, which is pretty cool. This question, Fofo, what account should I make for PayHip? Personal or business account PayPal? Maybe you meant PayPal, not PayHip. I don't know. Typically, unless you have business, like an LLC or whatnot, then you're gonna have to start personal, and it's gonna be a sort of a sole proprietorship, right, when it comes to how you do business. But I would recommend eventually getting to the point, especially once you start collecting money and this is serious and you wanna keep things from your personal separate from your business, which is important, then you can upgrade or change over to a business account. All right, let's answer one more. This was super fun for sure, Kathy. All right, here we go. Final question from Inspirational from Marie. I want to convert my YouTube to podcast, but spend the beginning saying hello to guests. Will this put listeners off? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. I want you to think about a person listening to the podcast with the 2 minutes of people just kind of hearing you go, hey, what's up, Jim? What's up, Sally? Thanks for coming in today. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes for people to come in. Hey, what's up? And that's very common. And that's, kind of the right thing to do when you start a live stream often. However, I've learned from Chalene Johnson that you shouldn't actually do that, because not only is that not great for if you're going to be redistributing that audio on a podcast, but even for people who are doing the replays on YouTube, you're not saying their names. They feel already disconnected. Versus if you started your live stream by, imagine you starting the live stream like this. All right, I'm going to turn the sound off for this one because I want you to just kind of feel for how this is different. So I'm going to start a live stream like this. Hey everybody, it's Marie here. Today we are talking about the 3 most important things you can do to have a positive mindset throughout the day. Even if you're going through a tough time right now, I want to share with you some stuff that's worked for me to help me get out of a rut. And as we wait for a few more people here to come into live, I want to just talk about why this is important. And yes, I am live. If you're listening on the podcast, I'd recommend you check out my live show on YouTube because you can come join me. You can get some questions answered. But even if you can't, it's okay because I'm going to provide some value for you. Again, for everybody coming in today, we're talking about the 3 things that we can do, including one question, a simple question that you can ask yourself every single day to make sure you stay in a positive mindset. What's up, Jim, Kathy, and Bill? Thank you so much for being here today. All right, now let's get started. I wouldn't spend too much time mentioning names, just a few to make it seem live. And those who are listening to the podcast are almost going to feel kind of left out in a good way. Wow, she goes live and I can get access to Marie? This is awesome. But not so much it's like, okay, well, I got to go on this run, and I don't know if this episode is going to be the thing I need to listen to, so I'm going to find something else that matters more, right? So that's kind of how I would go about it, if that makes sense. All right. Cool. Thank you. You're welcome. Great job today, everybody. We answered 23 questions, Jordan. And I think we hit it out of the park. So, chat, thank you so much for today. I appreciate you and had a lot of fun with the quiz tool. Had a great week of content diving deep into themes that would help us in 2021. And we are in 2021 now, which is pretty crazy, right? And I want to thank you again for coming on and spending time with me. And I know that's, we all don't have that much time. For you to spend a little bit of time with me every single day means the world. We are 2 days away from episode 300. So make sure, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button below and the bell notification icon so you don't miss out on these special episodes that are coming out, plus a lot more pre-recorded videos coming out to help you grow your income while helping more people. That's what we do here, and to live the life that you want. I appreciate you for coming in today. Tomorrow, I'll tell you when we're going to start in just a moment here, because schedules are wonky now that school's back in action. Okay, tomorrow we're starting at 7:30 a.m. Actually, no, we're not. I lied. We're going to start at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So kind of during lunchtime, 11 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Again, 11 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern will be tomorrow's start time. So 11 a.m., a little bit different, midday, but looks like based on my schedule and the meetings that I have, that's going to be the case. So 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much today. I appreciate you. This was super fun. Here comes the outro. And as always, Team Flynn for the win. I appreciate you.
This is the income stream. help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Thank you all. Appreciate you. My mind is blown every single time. I know I might seem like an eclectic kind of guy, but you know what? We have fun. And it's okay to be weird. Just be yourself. Your vibe attracts your tribe. All those fun things. Anyway, take care. Have a great Sunday. Peace out. Stay well. Love you.
Bruh.